So so our next speaker is Kelley, who's just moved across the country, and as I say, he's had a desk for 2 days, which is amazing. And I was reading in through all the bios are on the Dragon Talks.info page, so you can read about everyone and all the links are there. But I was reading through it, and one of the things that I loved was that Kelley said that it's the great awakening of the dragons, but it's actually the time when we remember. So I mean, it's basically saying they've always been there, and we the humans forgot. So I'm sure Kelly's going to share lots of amazing stuff with us. So welcome, Kelley, and I'm glad that your move went well. Welcome.
I made it here safely. Wow. Well, as always, being allowed to come into a space of sharing with all of you about dragons is, to me, a very huge honor. And it's a great privilege because so much has been demonized about dragons in our culture, especially in America, but probably even around the world. And you're right. The Dragon Awakening to me is about us waking up to them and them to us and our relationship with them deepening. Because to me, it's been a long time relationship because I've been in a deep communion with a team of dragons for 25 years. But when I feel into it as a soul, I feel like my depth of relationship with the dragons is eternal. Like I've had an eternity of knowing them. And it's really true for me. So, and they've shown it to me. That's the most miraculous part, is that I have experienced a continuum of expansion with working with dragons. And that doesn't seem to ever, I'm sure that will not stop because that's what the light is. It's about wonder and amazement. And everything in creation is always going to be taking you into greater and greater wonder and discovery. And I was recently talking to someone at a gathering here. I arrived and hit the ground right into a big gathering of friends. And this gentleman was saying, well, if you go into the higher dimensions where there's no duality, what makes you grow? And I was trying to express it to him, but it came down to wonder and amazement. The light is always going to be enticing us to grow regardless of whether we're in a time of or a space of duality or not. And because of who I am, I guess I have had that luxury of experience within myself to be able to reach up into places where there is no duality and there's a great oneness there and a unification. Most of the time, in my experience in my journey, I see people instantly going into that when they get into their heart. When we get to the heart of who we truly, genuinely are, from a place of awakened in ourselves, most of us hunger and seek unity instinctively. To me, it's a natural instinct. And to me, that's also like resonant with nature. So when we step into the natural world, everything is reciprocal. It's very reciprocity. And our whole bodies are doing that. So today, when I was preparing to come and talk, yes, I just moved from Colorado to Oregon. I used to live in Oregon, and I moved away 4 years ago to help care for a family member, my mother. I took care of her for her last year of life, and that was a really remarkable experience. So I, like many of you, I have been on my own journey with the dragons. So I always share that my experience is my own and there's no one way. The dragons are so multiplicit. There's multidimensional aspects of dragons. There's elements are everywhere. So the elemental beings, to me, the thunder beings are part of life in every part of existence. So when they started taking me into my personal journey, I went through a massive awakening 30 years ago and left a career, took a 7 year period of developing my new awakening gifts, and became a full time healer and chose a path of ministry with my healing work because I wanted to be not limited by a system. And I chose to go into it from a place of being an active listener. In that process, I became, it's really great. Margaret, I became an animal communicator. I've been working with champion horses for many, many years. I do horse whispering. Um, and I work with parrots and dogs and cats and wild animals would come to me too. In fact, one day I completed some work in my healing room and I stepped outside of my room and my client had just left and there was a deer in my meadow gazing with me, and I wound up helping her to take care of her sick baby. And it was an amazing communication and a story that is really, it's quite lengthy, but I have so many stories from so many aspects of working with animals, plants, the dragons, the life around us. So to me, it's just, I feel like a very wealthy woman. To me, true wealth is about the light we collect, the love we hold, and what I have put into my bank account in my heart. So I have this big bank account and it's just so full it wants to spill out all over all of you. So I hope you're not going to feel too overwhelmed by what I'm going to share, but I'm going to be continually giving because it's what my heart does. So I am an inner child healer, and ancestral healer. I work with the Akashic, and when my temple of light woke up in my body 30 years ago, I went into my own private university with my own healing abilities. It was a deep remembering that went back in time for me to angelic families and other dimensions way beyond the earth. And I became a deeply introspective person over time and began to develop an understanding of what it means to be whole. So for me, the dragons are all about the journey of wholeness and all about holding a truth for us that reflects something we all have access to within the light itself, which is, we're all here with the same prime directive. You're here to love and be loved. And that's to bless and to be blessed. And you can name that in all kinds of different ways, but it all resonates back into the same thing. It's simple. It's love. And love is a very interesting word in our language, in our traditions. We oftentimes have a hard time understanding love because we don't have enough language about it. We have this word in our English language for it, love. But if you go to certain tribes, there's a tribe on the West Coast here, just south of me here, in Santa Cruz, and they teach a whole language around the word love. There's 13 different love relationships, and then there's 3 different levels to each one. So when you're in that tribe, you get to learn the languages of love. And when you understand the relationships of what love are, it changes the way you look at everything in your life. So a lot like a shamanic journey, which is what I think Kevin refers to in the dismemberment, is that when I went into my shamanic awakening, I remember feeling like the earth had been pulled out from under my feet. You might relate to this, huh, Kevin? Like, wait a minute, who am I? Really? I thought I was this. I'm not that. Oh my God, there's something else here. So for me, it was literally a shattering of my realities, and not one, multiple realities. I had to look at things so differently because everything I had been taught didn't fit into this place my light was standing in anymore. So the journey that the dragons and the spiritual awakenings that I've gone through have been all like that. And the dragons sync things up, as we've said. The synchronicities are amazing. And I don't know if any of you are on here caught my talk on Dragon Thunder, but I was the 5th speaker. Today's the 5th. And I was like, I was in the shower getting ready for this morning, and I was like, oh my God, it's the 5th again. Wait, another 5. But it's so interesting because for me, 5s are about the 5-pointed beings that we are. You have your hands and your feet and your head. We are 5s. And wholeness, the map that I learned over the years, relates to that. We're all walking 5-pointed stars as humans. So it's really amazing to come into an understanding. And when I learned the whole journey to wholeness, working with my ancestors, I'm Cherokee and Scottish and a little Choctaw, Apache, and probably a few other flags I could wave. But I consider myself to be a galactic human because of how multidimensionally I embrace all life. And the Dragons of Ascension and Light is a story. I taught a class after Dragon Thunder on Dragon Awakening, and I decided to offer it again. So I'm offering it November 19th for any of you who want to come. Barbara came. She can give you all some reflections. What did you think of my Dragon Awakening class,
It,
Barbara?
it was awesome. Even if you, I would say, even if you understand dragons, like it was different, completely different. So well worth it.
So I thank you. I shared at that class, and I'll share with you now, because I have this long-standing history with the dragons from a place of love and really humility. Um, I embrace them the way they embrace me, which is with a total heart and an openness. And dragons aren't have never controlled me, and they have never taken me over. I know that I'm merging into my own dragon energy in a greater way, and they've been showing me into my higher celestial body where my dragon sits up there. That's just it looks a lot like a creamy golden white dragon that has incredibly soft, sweet whiskers. And when it breathes on you, it this dragon's breath sends shudders through your whole body and opens everything that's it just is a cleaner. It's like having something gentle, loving, and the kindest energy you can imagine whisper on you with love so deeply that it just changes you in a matter of seconds. So my experience with the dragons is so tasked and dimensional that I go to the most incredible light fathoms of imagining with them to the most grounded reality. Like yesterday, I was on Mount Shasta, so I'll come around to that. Yesterday on Mount Shasta, I was reuniting with a tribal elder who I haven't seen for many years. But when I would lead vision quests on Mount Shasta, the local tribes would lead a sweat lodge with my clans and call all the village elders from the tribe and let them know I was bringing people to sit on the holy mountain. When you go up to sit on the mountain, you're really in an open space to commune with the source. And it's not about anybody but you and your source to self connection, which is the beauty of taking time in nature and going on journeys. So I'm really excited to hear Kevin's going up to Peru, and I have a long time relationship with the holies of the sacred land of Peru. Even though I haven't physically been a lot of places on the earth, I go there with dragons all the time. Machu Picchu and Lake Titicaca and the spaces between and above things. A lot of the holy cities and the holy mountains are generators. They're energy field holders for our atmosphere. There's a lot more to the earth than what a lot of us realize. And when I began to work with dragons, it was a prophetic journey of really learning how to understand the nature of an elemental that had gotten, in my journey with it, had gotten trapped here and needed help. So I was a dragon hunter, and I was doing an amazing job fulfilling my own promise to them. And promises are prophecies. They're the things we come back to fulfill. And I know we're all here doing that. You wouldn't be here if you weren't here to fulfill your promise of being yourself here. So it's real simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes we make it big stuff, but it isn't. It can be the smallest little thing. And sometimes the little things are the most potent ones. So I honor everybody's road path and wherever you are in your journey. And the dragons taught me to look at things spherically because we all have stories about them. We have different realities with them. We have different dimensional experiences with them. So I always preface, my sharing with, think spherically. There's always a place for the differences we have to have a place to go. When we see it differently or when we experience it differently, that doesn't make it wrong. And in our humanness, we're so quick to make each other wrong. So what I like to do is open the heart and invite us to see our and honor each other, even in our differences, and to listen from a different kind of space and place. And the dragons have really helped me to learn to appreciate the need to do that, as a fellow human being to you all, and as a brother, sister, a relationship that we carry as one humanity, sharing this great big blue marble we're hurling through space on. As the dragons like to tell me all the time, the earth, it's not still. It's moving. And I'm like, yeah. But I know we need to get still a little bit in our own deep place of listening and communing. And they said, well, yeah, but you're still moving. And they've allowed me to have some very expanded ideas about what's happening. So back to Mount Shasta. I went to reunite with Walking Eagle, who's Kurok, and he turned 72 today. So they brought 72 rock people into the sweat lodge. And I don't know how many of you have been in sweat lodges before, but that's a hot lodge. 72 rocks is a lot of heat. It was also the biggest sweat lodge I've ever been in. It was big enough that there was probably 75 people in there and we could stand up in it. And I've never done sweating standing up before. I've always been sitting in a sweat lodge. So this was it was a remarkable, interesting experience. But on the way home, I had these amazing dragons in the sky, and I took 2 pictures. I brought them here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Host, can I share my screen? Maybe you can help me do that. I don't know if I can or not. See if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I'll make you a host.
Should see a green button that says share screen on the bottom, right near the mute.
Yeah, I know where it is.
You're co-host now. You should be able to share.
Okay, great. So I'm going to hit share, and I'm going to bring this first picture up here. So I was traveling back from Shasta, and these images were up. So this is a dragon head, this is a dragon head, and this is an angel. And it's like, you can see that there's like an angel here with a hand, and it's touching the face of the dragon. So I'm driving back from this deep ceremony, and I look up, and I'm like driving and taking a picture with my phone. And luckily I had my phone on a little jack that could hold it, and I was able to capture this one. And it was just amazing. So I had to share it with you all. Then this one was the other one. Just as I left Mount Shasta, this little pink sky dragon was up in the air, and right next to it was another dragon head, a little one right here, and it almost looked like a sea dragon. This one looks like the way you would see a seahorse's head. And I have a deep relationship with the water of life that goes way beyond the earth, and I'm going to share a little bit about that with you all. But these are the pictures I took on the way home from Mount Shasta yesterday. All right, so in that, and I'll be happy to share those. Let's see, how do I end it? Ooh. Huh. It'll start letting me stop sharing. Wait a minute. Maybe I just need this. Okay. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, we saw it. We can see them.
Okay.
Have you got a stop share button anywhere?
Yeah, I'm looking for that. For some reason, let me do that.
On top where it says view options, maybe?
Where does it say that? I'm having trouble finding the stop share button.
It says,
Top middle. It says view options.
Oh,
like,
hmm.
like all the way up top.
Oh, got it. Got it. Okay, took me a minute. Found it. Yoo-hoo. All right. It's a little red button next to the little green button, so you know. So there's a big dragon that lives here up on the highway, Highway 66, going between Klamath Falls and the southern part of Ashland, Oregon, where I am. This dragon takes up 3 hillsides, and I share about it in the class I'm going to be teaching on the 19th. I'll share those images with you if you come. So one of the stories I carry is this interspecies galactic communion with dragons. What I was doing in my journey with the dragons was helping to get a species of dragons back to their home world. Because there are multiple dimensions of dragons, sometimes dragons through events have come into places where they don't belong. And this happened to our world at the fall of humanity, at one of the falls. There's been more than one fall. So I, for some reason, was involved with that, partly because I was here at the time when it fell, and I was involved with it then, and it carried over for lifetimes into now. About 8 years ago, I went to New Zealand to finish some of that work, and a massive dragon awakening happening on the earth, which was when the actual dragon elementals that were on the earth here in this dimension were ready to be awakened again because they had been sleeping. And even the Lakota elders and the native elders knew. They were like, oh, you know, the elementals are sleeping, but we can't remember why. We had gotten confirmation from them, you know, and this was even before I remembered what was going on. But the dragons would awaken things in my knowledge bank when it had meaning and purpose and when I needed to know. So I wasn't always going around trying to figure things out. I was just waiting for things to dawn. And on the journey of being in the relationship with life, you just open and take each step, follow what's in front of you, try to stay grounded, keep yourself balanced, work on you. You know, it's the story of all of our lives as humans. We're here working on ourselves, right? So every time I would turn a corner, there would be some new aspect or new part of what the dragons were teaching me about. And this interspecies work was amazing because at that time, 8 years ago now, when we were down in New Zealand, this door was about to open the following year for the earth itself. And we were being shown that the creators of this universe were taking a piece of their creation, which was for us a whole group of galaxies that were going through an evolutionary journey together. And that actually ignited a wave of light language on the earth like we have never seen. And at that point, that energy grounded into the earth in such a special way. Part of it was that these galaxies that went through this door, space and time, that went through the gate together, where all these different species of beings lived and began to share knowledge and information with each other through light language. And the dragons, along with some of the other families of light that I'm part of and angels, put the term light language into the earth heart. When the universe wants to give everyone here something, it'll go into the earth heart. From the earth heart, we all receive it. And those of us that are ready for whatever's coming up from there can take it in. we're always in choice with ourselves because we have our free wills. And in our free will, we have the willingness to say yes and no to whatever's coming up. When something doesn't feel good, you just let it go. When it does feel good, you take it in. And so we learn to work with our inner beacons instinctively. You know, our feeling of when it's good and warm, we're open. When it doesn't, we contract. Those are your inner body beacons. And so we learn how to understand our beacons through our life and through working with ourselves. So the more self-aware you are, the better off you are. Your greatest power in life and the one that you have the most control over is you. Yourself to source connection. It's like the beauty of everything that's good is right here. So I always say, stay true to your heart, listen to your heart, don't listen to me, listen to yourself to source connection, and, you know, talk to things directly, not just dragons, talk to your angels. We're surrounded by realm dwellers. There are so many different types of beings here on the earth that share life with us. But when that gate opened and light language was put into the heart, it was about all of these galaxies, these 22 galaxies, I think is the number that I was shown. Some of you might know differently, but that was what I was given. And 22 galaxies of species began to communicate. And I was told by the dragons that those multidimensional species of people and beings and different types of terrestrials and extraterrestrials and realm dwellers were all intertwined in incarnating with each other. And so a lot of us are speaking languages that could be from our brothers and sisters on you know, on the galactic, you know, thread on that 22. So you could like, oh, that's coming from number 4, and that one's coming from 8, and that one's coming from 15, and whoa, that one's way up here. So you can kind of play with it. But imagine how many galaxies are in our Milky Way. Okay. There's millions and billions. So when we talk about a galaxy, 22 of them, we're talking about billions and billions of species. And there's so much being said and spoken. And what I noticed after that awakening happened was all of these people started speaking light language all over the place. And I mean, at least 8 groups are on Facebook now that are just about speaking in codes. The Keepers of the Code was a great one. They took off. A lot of the beautiful groups that started speaking and sharing light language around the world just have gone off. And I've been drawing light language myself. And I have a Facebook light language page called Light Language Art, and where I just freely share. I offer some gifts for fees if you want to do a special reading with me or custom light language. I take your birth information and I do an expanded reading with Zoom where we record it and I sing your light language to you. And that's really amazing. So I've just started offering those, but it's really a lot of fun because when you take your dragon energy and the elements and the angels and the guardians and your guides and your team of allies and the spirits that are with you, and we go into the circle together and into the temple of light, there's no limitation to where we might be taken. And oftentimes we get taken way beyond where most people see themselves. Working with the teams of light that I am in communion with, there's a lot of places where you can be taken that might expand you or may take you into a deeper place of healing than you've reached before. And I don't make promises. I open the door and invite you in. And when we go into that place together, there's always an opportunity for you to have your own authentic, true, genuine experience for yourself. And it's not about measuring things or setting up expectations. So I'm careful because I know that some of you are new to dragons, even new to letting yourself speak and feel the energy of them. They're big. Some of them are also tiny. So dragons can be big and small. The fairies, I mean, think about this. We talk about our elemental connection as humans, that we have personal dragon elemental energies. And some of us have teams, like I have teams of dragons that I work with. And I sit on dragon councils in the higher dimensions. But those aren't flags I'm waving. I'm saying we all have these different dynamic relationships with them. And some of you may have greater relationships than others, but they're all still your own personal connection. And we think about that personal connection and we're talking about identifying ourselves with our dragons, but think about this. everything has an elemental connection. So fairies, other species, angels have connections to elementals. There are angelic dragons, and some of them are very, like when I talk about the celestial dragon of mine, it's like very heavenly. It is truly a heavenly dragon. It does not touch the ground. That dragon lives in the air. And there's an amazing place in space for all of these dragons to exist that go way beyond our consciousness of imagining, and sometimes way beyond any thought you could have ever imagined having. And I think for me, the overall journey I've had with the dragons for the whole time I've been involved with them has been a continuum of that. A constant expanding of myself to taken beyond any place I ever imagined being. And I certainly never imagined that when I would come out as a published author and begin to speak, it would be about dragons. Not in a million years did I think I would be here with all of you. And yet it's like so perfect and so beautiful that this is where it is and that this is what's happening. And I'm so incredibly grateful to you, Kevin, for your big giant heart and for your willingness and for your listening, because you heard it and you answered the call and then you acted on it. And that was just absolutely beautiful. So I'm in deep gratitude, deep bow, deep appreciation for the love you're holding for all of us coming together and the way in which you're holding it. It's really, really, really precious. And I'm so grateful, to be like one among you, to be one of you, to one with you. It's absolutely the most precious thing. The dragons have always taught me to be very all embracing, to see that we are all the children of the light, that we all have a source to self connection, that we're all living flames from the flames of light. There are a lot of us who are part of the original family there that are in this universe that are communing on the earth right now. I consider myself to be part of that family. And there's a tremendous amount of completion work that many of us are doing with this universe to help this universe to grow. The universe is actually growing, and there is a great purge happening on the earth right now related to shadow. So Larry, when you were sharing earlier, that cleansing that someone else mentioned, I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry, but the woman who came on and mentioned how Larry's channeling was clearing, sharing in light language was cleansing the earth. I totally resonated with that. Yeah, it was deep. And I commune with a lot of healers around the world. I don't openly share this very often, but I have some private groups that I get together with for the purpose of healing and singing and sharing light for this universe and wherever we're sent. I've been doing transformation work with reptilians, lower world dragons, getting the interspecies moved to the right place, working with galactic families of light that are coming into the earth, sometimes working with galactic agreements with those that are called ambassadors. I do a lot of work with soul carrying. Many of you might not know what that means, but it's a very elevated, higher light principle where certain beings carry souls to be incarnated places. They call us the mother of souls. So some of us are here to bring greater lights into position to be reincarnated. So some of us are doing that work. Some of you may be doing that work. Some of you may feel a piece or a thread of what I'm talking about landing in you right now in a way that never has by anyone on earth. Because a lot of people don't understand these things. When it's happening with you, you've never had a place to put it or anyone you could tell about it or talk to about it. So when I have gone into sharing on the higher levels, working with the multi-galactic aspects of life, it's oftentimes because there are things that are ready to be shared. So that one just came out of my mouth for a reason for somebody here. But I want you to understand, a lot of us are here doing very deep work to help this whole experience to happen in greater ways. And it's all about raising the love. right? Coming into greater and greater love, and to share greater love with each other, and to understand that our dragons are here to help with that. When the dragons that were asleep woke up, part of why they go into such a higher frequency and are considered to be ascended is because they were left sleeping in their actual bodies down here. When I mentioned that dragon on the highway up here, that dragon looks like a great big giant Falcor dragon from this never-ending story with his eyes closed. He has big horn on the top of his nose, and you can see his humps, and he covers 3 hillsides, and you can see this little hook that is his tail. It's an amazing picture. Barbara saw it when I shared my class. So he was a big dragon, but they're sleeping giants. So you'll find dragon bodies that are stone that are like, they look like they're sleeping. And when those dragons were meant to be awakened, did not take place fast enough. A lot of their bodies began to erode. And so the divine forces that are took them into ascension. So when they went through a great awakening here, they came down as big shafts of light and etheric energy. So there's a massive amount of spiritual awake dragons on the earth with us all, over 150 million of them on the earth that woke up, that were connected and seated in various places on the earth. They are all holding elemental jobs. And a big part of that sprang into storms, because they're like, oh, nobody's been sweeping. Got to get my chore done. And so they go instinctively into a frenzy of cleaning and rebalancing energy. So we've had firestorms and water storms and hurricanes and incredible storms. And they told me it was going to happen for about 5 or 6, maybe 7 years of cleansing. And then it was going to calm down. In the next year, we should actually see it starting to kind of back down and calm, but it's been intense. And as you all know, it's been deadly for some people. Those storms have been incredibly dangerous. And in fact, 3 years ago, one brushed through Southern Oregon. I don't know if you know, but there was a massive firestorm here. And my own grandchildren lost their home, and lots of my friends lost their homes here. So they're rebuilding. They're still rebuilding the town. So it's been intense. And we all know what happened in Hawaii recently, in Maui. It was a really unexpected storm. But I got a picture of a dragon there the day of the fires. And it was actually a news reporter was talking about the fires. And I did a double take, and I saw a dragon in the smoke. And I was able to stop the video on YouTube, and I photographed it. And that dragon was amazing. And what was really interesting about that dragon's head is it was sitting in a position looking down at what looked like a temple. And it was communing with the temple of light that was actually right there with the Wholeness, the old Maui people, the ancestors there. And so the energy and the light that was there was sitting right in front of the dragon being spoken to at that moment. And so that was a profound picture. So I'll share that with you all later. I feel like, yeah, I want to give you something before I stop talking. From the dragons themselves in my circle, if you're willing to receive. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna open it up for my team to come in and give you some love. All right. I don't know where it's going to take you. I have no expectations, and I'm not going to plan any thoughts. What I'm going to say is I'm going to sing to you and let the dragons take you where they want to take you. And allow yourself to receive what it is you want and need in this moment. Open your heart and yeah, enjoy this. I hope this feels good for you. All right, here we go. So I invite you to in your heart. Drop into your hearts. Close your eyes if you feel more comfortable doing so, just to get more in yourself. Ushkipina, Atike, na Akatoshkoski, Miana, Awaishi, me away cheese, he sees. Miana Kato Ushkrai, Miana Kata Alai, Miakoya, Hapiana Katoshkosk. Amia Achoshki, Skemana, Ata, E, Piana Kata Ato, Hemia Ato Ushka, Aina Kata Ayana, Alayamana Ueshki, Miana Katashku, Emiana Kata Ashko, Hey, Atatashku, Ko. Epiana kata ashku, emiana kata shkiski, emiana kata okoto, emiana ariana kata ashku, na, emina otu piana kata, eshkena no koto upiana na, eshkia penana akatiana na, epiana kata ashkuski, emiana atashku, mana kata, o apiana kata akweski, eshkiana na hautuko. May we see greater peace on our earth and greater love happening in all hearts. And may we see our brothers and sisters all finding their way to their paths and knowing who they are, and the great awakening happening for this earth, for the well-being of this planet and everything else beyond. I hope, Ashe, so be it. Amen. Thank you. Y'all okay? Woo! How'd it feel? Was that some love?
Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. From my heart was flying out lots of butterflies in the most beautiful purple colors. It was beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm really touched.
Thank you. My angelic family closest to me here on the earth are the butterfly people.
Yeah.
They're from Venus.
Yeah.
We're from Venus. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Oh my God, Kelley, that I just have to say really quickly, I literally just wrote down about sending the butterfly codes to Hawaii and got butterfly people. And I'm one of them too. So it's just like all like I literally got an image real quick of you and I standing in a circle and being surrounded by the Sophia dragon circling around us. And then the next image, and that was a while. We were like in that space for a while. And then the next was in the water with the water dragons as mermaids.
Mm.
So, and then I got send the marine codes to Hawaii, send the butterfly dragons to Hawaii. So we get also the butterfly people and then the butterfly dragons, and I don't know a lot about them, but I just know that there's some kind of connection between the butterfly beings and the butterfly dragons. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. The butterfly people live in the etheric realm around Venus, and they also exist throughout the universe. They live around every planet. They're part of the realm dweller family of communion. So you can be from the butterfly people from different planets, different systems, different dimensions. Like I met a sister who was connected to them, and she's like from Pluto. So way over there, but we're deeply connected, and they have a little bit of a hive-minded consciousness that they share. But the interesting thing about the butterfly people is they can turn that on and off. It's a very unique thing. They can actually switch on when they want to share everything with each other, and they can switch off when they don't, because they can be their individual energy, and they only share what's most frequency available and beneficial. So they're very conscious about what they share in the hive. And so it's very interesting that they have that power and that awareness. So they're very purposeful, and they're extremely elevated as species, highly evolved angels. and beautiful, and they live throughout this, and they do exist beyond this universe. But I'm just speaking to them right now from this place. And I've had a lot of images of dragons with butterfly wings, and it's really funny because I always see rainbows, and I'm always like connecting to them with rainbows because they are all the rays and all the frequencies. They taught me there are 9 frequencies of humans on the earth, of families of light. And so most of us are out shopping to find our, and I mean that not in the literal sense. I mean that strictly figuratively, folks. We're looking to find each other, and some of us carry all the rays, and so the butterfly people are very like multi-rayed. They carry all the 9 frequencies. So those of us who do that oftentimes find that we can be relatable to a lot of different people because of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if most all of us are very connected to that here. So because you all are so special and everyone's very special, so are your gifts. It's so beautiful. Thank you for letting me share with your hearts, and being willing to receive from my heart to yours. I am offering a class, another Dragon Awakening class. It's 2 hours. It's on my website, which is lovewisdompower.com. I'll put it in a link for it. But another thing I'm doing right now that I've landed is I'm finishing up a course for Dragon Temple Light journey. So I want to take a group of you on a very special experience with me that I haven't done with anyone. This is going to be bending time and moving from temple to temple with dragon riding, literally going on our dragons together into these very high elevated temples. This is not for beginners. This is for people who are ready to do very deep, expansive work with themselves, because when we enter these temples, a great deal of expanded remembering happens within yourself. I'm very purposeful about when I do this, who I'm doing it with, and what we're doing. The dragons are guiding it. If you're guided to do this with me, trust me, it's because you're supposed to be there. This is the kind of thing that will happen. It'll be like you're one of us and you're supposed to be in this journey. So I'm not talking about beginners from a place of whether you just met your dragon or not. I'm talking about your soul. All of you have to measure for yourselves, where you're at with your soul light. You can be ancient. You can be millions of years old and just feel like you're beginning to do something here. That doesn't mean you're a beginner. It means you're an old soul. You just haven't remembered much yet. So I'm just saying, if you're here and you feel called to do that journey with me, I want you to really trust yourself in it, because that calling is just the same thing like when we listen to the dragons and they tell us to do this. So the dragons are asking me to do journey work with all of you and to offer it. So I'm putting together a 7-week journey temple of light experience that we are going to take. I originally thought about naming the number of temples we were going to go to, but the dragon said, oh, no. Don't limit it, because when the group comes together, it's gonna. So I was like, okay. So they've already told me to stay more expanded in my thinking about it. So I'm just wrapping up the dates, and I'm about to launch that in the next week. So be looking for my website in the coming week to see that posted. And if it feels like something you want to be part of, you'll have time, because it's going to start in December. You'll have time for the rest of the month to get signed up and feel into it. Okay. But I'm ready to offer it, and I'm super excited about doing this. I also know that I'm meant to travel and go places. So what you shared, Dina, about seeing us standing in water, I'm an initiated water mother, tribally. I've been initiated by 4 different shamans. I've studied with 4 different tribes. I've been adopted by them all. I'm adoptable. Just so you know. You can adopt me if you want me. So, But my point is that I have multiple mer bodies in the higher dimensions. And I mentioned something about water earlier to you all. Water is oh, it's just like clouds, okay? There is so much more for us to understand about the power of that element. And yes, Dina's picture. The water dragons and the water elements to me are now multidimensional gates and passages, because I can move through through time and space, through water, and through a water world. There's an actual place in the multiverse that is complete, and there's more than one of these. But there's one of the higher dimensions that sits just below the celestial family of light, which is the source. That is the actual water that creates all oceans in all places, in all dimensions. So I've entered into a remembering in that place, and it's extremely expansive for me. And it's a part of what has opened the gateway for me to do this expanded higher temple journey work, because I'm a supreme negotiator when it comes to moving through time and space with dragons now, thanks to them and what they've helped me to remember. And I now am at a level where I can hold a group in that and take people with me. I've been doing it kind of one-on-one, but I'm being told it's time to expand it into the greater circle, and to bring a group with me to do traveling together and reflecting with each other, because we will remember more in the sharing. Our unique experiences are so valuable, you all. And that's why the Margaret sharing her story before me was so precious. Whenever we share our stories of experience with each other, we give each other so many clues, pieces, and affirmations. Not always just about that person sharing, but about what we have in relationship to each other that is common. Like, I'm a water tiger, by the way. And I keep white tiger pictures with me everywhere I go. And they always have blue eyes. And so, so yeah, there's just so much more. I could talk for hours. I could keep you guys here for a week. But I probably need to stop, huh, Kev?
Well, you can come back again, can't you? We've got more dates, so.
The timing of this was so precious, and it was so great. I was like thinking, I'm moving, I'm going to be getting settled, I'm going to be like opening the door to do more sharing. And I wrote to Kevin, hey, and he goes, hey, I've got an opening. I'm like, great, the week after I arrive. Okay, huh?
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I was so excited you talking about doing this journey. Did that include the Mount Shasta Vision Quest, or is that a separate thing?
Oh, the actual Vision Quest that I'm going to be teaching this summer is a physical one,
Right.
where people can come to Shasta. We're going to camp. It'll probably be a 4-day camping journey, but I would plan for probably 5 to give yourself some time to between or after if you need it. But yeah, it's going to be a 3-day vision quest on Mount Shasta. I'm going to lead it in 2 spaces on the mountain this year. My youngest son is training with me to co-lead the high altitude backpacking trip. It's going to be a 2-hour high altitude backpacking journey for anyone who feels fit and ready to do that. I'm probably going to hold the anchor in a lower part of the mountain with some people who can't do that. And I'm going to be seeing some people who have handicaps and other gifts that may be coming that I want to support to the Vision Quest. They've never done it before, but they're ready, and they're about very elevated souls. So I've decided to not let their handicaps stop me from teaching them. If they feel called to come, I'm going to make it happen for them. So, so there's some really beautiful people that may be coming that are elders. I'm an elder, and I inherited my medicine wheel that I teach from my own medicine teachers and my ancestors. That combination came together. I teach a medicine wheel of 7s. And I've been teaching with that wheel for many, many years. So it's a very precious actual medicine wheel that you will learn. And then the details about that journey aren't up yet because we're still formulating dates and timing for it. But it's going to probably be in August this next summer. Okay.
Sounds
Thank
amazing.
you.
Sounds like
and one thing I will
everyone's going to sign up.
Barbara, that journey will the temple light class journey work still might involve Shasta. That is probably a temple we could visit.
So I know you might know, but I've literally said I signed up a while back because when you were talking about it the other day, I'm like, yes, I'm going to do it. You didn't even know the dates. I was like, yes, I have to be there. So whatever that happens, but yes, and like Kevin said, like sign me up now because I'm going to do that.
Yay! I'm putting you on a list.
Yes, do.
Okay, awesome. And any of you who feel the call, let me know, and I'll make certain that you get in the loop for knowing when it's detailed out, and I'll happily send it to you. Any of you, okay?
Perfect. As soon as you got that link, just send it to me, and I'll stick it all over the websites and in Dragon Thunder, and let people know. So, and I'm sure there'll be a website checking you out anyway. So that was a beautiful share. Thank you very much for your time and for doing it after you just moved as well. And come on, everyone, send lots and lots of love to Kelley. I know you want to. Let's send her lots of love.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. But yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Larry, to Dina, to Margaret, and to Kelley. And you guys make my job nice and easy. I just have to turn up and you do all the wonderful talking, and I just have to grumble in the middle, which is beautiful. So it's beautiful to see everyone. And of course, we're here every month, and we're at the dragontalks.info. So pop over and check it out and see who's coming next. And it often changes. But if anyone else wants to come and talk, then please do.